I've had an arranged marriage with the eldest daughter of the Smiths since we were kids. For the sake of this potential fortune, I've been willing to play the loyal admirer. Following her around for 5 years, she finally agreed to get engaged. The catch? We live our own lives, no interference. Helen, arm in arm with her new flame, casually asks, all these marriages in rich families are like this, you're okay with that, right? I hesitated, feeling conflicted. I was tempted, but her sister might not agree. Over the past 5 years as her admirer, I've cooked for her, made soup, covered for her secret romances, and even ran interference. I've bought medicine, washed clothes, acted as a chauffeur and a babysitter. I weathered wind and rain. No one was as dedicated as me. Like tonight, at the racetrack in the freezing early morning, I stood quietly in a thin t-shirt, pale from the cold but still waiting by the side. The deafening roar grew closer and a flashy black race car came to a stop in front of me. The other cars only now came into view. Helen removed her helmet, shot me a cool glance, and introduced a handsome racer by her side. Her eyes softened when she looked at him. The scene was painful to watch. My eyes welled up, but I forced a smile and stepped forward to greet her. I brought you some soup, Helen. Drink a little, you don't want to catch a cold. The guy beside her chuckled mockingly. Helen, your admirer is quite old-fashioned. Isn't he? More soup? He's not tired of giving it, but I'm tired of drinking it. Can't he come up with something new? She laughed dismissively. Didn't I tell you not to come? Stephen? Humiliated, I lowered my head, biting my lower lip. Your mom was worried, so she asked me to bring you home. Helen's eyes showed irritation, her voice impatient. I'm not going back tonight, just leave. And don't bring this again, Charles doesn't like it. The guy named Charles tossed his helmet with a smirk. By then, her friends, having witnessed the scene, looked at me with a mix of pity and complexity. Embarrassed, I turned and walked away. Helen watched my back, taking a step forward involuntarily, but Charles pulled her along. Let's go, we've got drinks waiting. Her friends laughed, crowding them. Helen, you're so heartless. What if he leaves for good? She chuckled nonchalantly. I wish he would stop bothering me. Everyone laughed, thinking about why a young master like me would degrade himself like this. Yet they didn't see me conceal my sadness once I turned around, my face quickly becoming indifferent. They hit the nail on the head. Why would a young master choose to do this for her? Because I'm a fake young master, that's why. Up until I was 17, I lived the life of a pampered prince. Then my mom got pregnant with my brother. I accidentally overheard my parents talking. We've looked after him for so long. He should repay us someday. My mom sighed, if only back then. Though incomplete, their words set off alarms in my mind. I remembered a classmate joking, you look nothing like your parents. Secretly, I took a paternity test. Turns out I wasn't biologically theirs. They never told me and I pretended not to know. But I felt their love and resources slowly withdrawing. Even when Helen and I fought, my dad forced me to apologize, claiming Helen was prearranged for me by his granddad as an engagement partner, and I had to get along with her. The Booths provided me with a comfortable life. I couldn't afford to be willful. That's when I realized they adopted me to replace their deceased son for the arranged marriage. Tragically, my mom's health issues meant having another child was unlikely. My new brother, an unexpected gift, also sealed my fate. My parents planned to use me to pave the way for my brother and the Booths. Thus, I decided to look out for myself. Outwardly, I seemed to fawn over Helen, but behind the scenes, I was quietly transferring assets elsewhere. This decision proved correct. For women, things they can't obtain are often the best. When I ignored Helen, she sought my attention in all ways. But the moment I responded, her sense of superiority returned. Relying on one woman was a dead end, but considering several offered more opportunities. Publicly, I chased after Helen, but privately, I discreetly assessed her friends and their families' potential. Many began to notice me, but Helen remained oblivious. As I left the racetrack, my phone buzzed with messages of comfort from her close friends. I replied unsmilingly, about to toss the thermos in the trash when a hand reached from behind and took it. I turned, surprised, to see an unexpected sight. Victoria. She handed me a new men's coat, her actions understated and natural. Its warmth spread through me as her clear voice brought me back to my senses. It's nearing late autumn, you're underdressed. Thank you? You're welcome. A cold wind blew, and I instinctively tightened the coat, looking up at her. Victoria had a resemblance to Helen, yet their vibes were worlds apart. One was rebellious, the other a serene ice queen. Truthfully, I admired Victoria more for her calm and cool demeanor. Plus, she was the most promising among the potential candidates I secretly evaluated. The Smiths were the largest powerhouse in G-City, with Helen's mother as the current CEO. This connection explains my father's emphasis on the arranged engagement. Logically, Helen was the heir, but her unruliness angered their grandfather often. Conversely, Victoria revitalized a loss-making overseas subsidiary in just 2 years. The situation wasn't yet clear, but the grandfather would consider what's best for the family. This realization sparked a newfound appreciation in my gaze towards her. Victoria's expression briefly changed. Need a ride home? I raised an eyebrow. This was a good chance for further probing. I don't really want to go home right now, I said softly, pretending to be upset. She looked at me for about 2 seconds, her voice calm and casual. Want to go to my place then? I mentally whistled. She's on the right track. The car was at the perfect temperature, 26 degrees, just how I like it. I adjusted the seat to a comfortable angle, and suddenly, a song I shared online a few days ago started playing. I looked at her, surprised. The dim car lights softened her features. Our eyes met, and she gave a slight smile. It's a nice song. My heart skipped a beat, and I remembered that evening from 3 years ago. Back then, I hadn't mastered controlling my emotions. After another frustrating day at Helen's, I went to a bar to drink away my frustration. Victoria found me there. We weren't exactly close friends. She was a year older than us and mostly called Helen sis. She seemed distant towards me, so I never bothered to warm up to her. She asked, "Do you really like Helen that much?" I didn't think hard about what she meant. I just yelled, "Like Helen?" Even a dog would want to pee on her. She was silent for a couple of seconds. Then why do you keep seeing her? Couldn't hold back. Because she's the heiress to the Smiths. If you could take her down, I'd be all over you. That night I couldn't control my anger. Before I could say more, she covered my mouth and carried me away. The next day, I was worried sick she might tell my granddad. As I nervously observed her to find words for an apology, she suddenly laughed and said, "Stephen, you have my word." Later, she went abroad and quickly rose to prominence, becoming the star everyone in G-City wanted to bet on. We didn't interact much over these years, just exchanged greetings during holidays. But remembering what she said and did today, I can guess. Maybe she likes me? Couldn't help but smirk. Life really does surprise you, huh? Maybe I'm just born lucky. Victoria brought me to a spacious apartment. The place was stylish, minimalistic with gray and white tones, totally my style. She naturally poured chicken soup from a thermos into a bowl in front of me. "Drink some. It's still warm," she said as I tried to stop her. "Don't drink that, it's something others didn't want." She downed it without flinching. "It's good. If he didn't want it, it's his loss." Feeling guilty, I averted my gaze. I better not tell her it was just some dishwater. "Where am I sleeping tonight?" I asked, and she pointed to a spot. As I walked in, a pen on the bedside table caught my eye, my old high school pen. With mixed feelings, I opened the drawer below and found a brown notebook, something like a diary. I bet it holds some long-time secret crush notes on me. I rolled my eyes slightly. If this wasn't placed here on purpose, I'd eat it. Inside, every page was filled with my pictures, a collection of my life moments shared online over the years. Underneath, there was a line written in French. I couldn't understand it. Just as I was about to scan it for translation, someone knocked on the guest room door. "I put your toiletries in the bathroom." I turned quickly, accidentally dropping the pen. When Victoria saw the notebook in my hand, her eyes were a mix of panic, confusion, and emotion. Great acting. Couldn't back down. I pinched my thigh to make my eyes well up instantly. "Victoria, you felt this way since?" She walked over in silence. "I'm sorry. I never meant to make things hard for you." I shook my head, tears brimming. All this time, I was chasing someone else, but never knew. Words didn't need to be complete. The listener would fill in the gaps themselves. Victoria looked up, her dark brown eyes reflecting my image, controlled yet sincere. Stephen, I've always been here. My eyelids twitched. She's moving fast. But it's cool. Patience comes with time. I lowered my eyes. Victoria, give me some time. Okay? Victoria's face was gentle as she casually mentioned, Mom's letting me join the group as a VP next week. I almost burst out laughing but kept a worried face. What about my engagement to Helen? I'll have Mom call it off. I was so moved. I thought it through. Let's be together. And just like that, the two sly lovebirds officially became a couple. After we became official, I felt great. She just gets me, knows all my likes and habits inside out. Before I could say a word, a dozen outfits fitting my aesthetic arrived at my place. Moreover, she knew I needed iced Americano first thing in the morning. Her knowledge of my preferences was spot on. I became more and more satisfied with her. People are, after all, compared by contrast. If Helen were as thoughtful and classy as Victoria, I wouldn't mind agreeing to the engagement, marrying her. I didn't care if my wife loved me or not. I just wanted material comfort. Growing up with designer everything, even socks costing hundreds, when I found out the truth about my family, I ran away, testing my parents' reaction. They just cut my card, and I quickly behaved again. For me, going from luxury to frugality is more than hard. It's hell. I couldn't handle a poor life. That's why I wouldn't go against the booths. I even spent 5 years humbling myself for Helen. Oh wait, I don't have pride anymore. Anyway, Victoria dropped me off at the booth's place. She seemed about to get out and open my door, but I stopped her just in time. Maybe we should keep this a secret for now until things settle down, I suggested. She should understand what I meant. We're not ready to change the situation. She nodded. I get it. Her eyes dropped, showing a hint of sadness. I smiled, thinking, let's reward her for being so obedient. I gently cupped her face and kissed her softly. Her lashes fluttered, and I noticed her eyes darken. The next thing I knew, Victoria took control, gripping my neck, deepening the kiss. And just then, there was a knock on the window. Helen's voice came wafting in, Victoria? I jumped, accidentally biting her lip, causing blood to bloom. Victoria didn't budge. Her deep gaze hinted at a brewing storm. I calmly helped her clean up, motioning with my eyes for her to stay quiet, and got out of the car. Helen saw me and looked a bit surprised, with a slight frown on her brow. Stephen, why are you in my sister's car? I walked past her in silence, with sadness in my eyes and lips pressed tightly together. Helen's gaze shifted for a moment, but she didn't say anything. She opened Victoria's car door. Didn't you just get back from abroad? How come you're with Stephen? Victoria replied calmly. Saw him drinking alone at the bar when I met up with some friends, so I brought him back. Helen paused for a couple of seconds, then sighed. Seriously, getting drunk over such a small thing? She said. Anyway, thanks. Victoria chuckled a bit. Thanks for what? Well, Helen continued, Stephen was drinking because of me. It wouldn't have been good if something happened. You do think highly of yourself, Victoria teased. It's true, Helen insisted. Hearing this, I rolled my eyes and sped up my pace. As soon as I got home, my mom started questioning me. Didn't I tell you to find Helen? Where have you been all night? I hid the sarcasm in my eyes, showing only the usual pained and annoyed look on my face. She just let her boyfriend mock me. I was so upset. My mom's face changed for a second but quickly softened her tone. Stephen, Helen cares about you a lot. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come looking for you first thing in the morning. She was really worried when she couldn't find you. She pulled me to sit down and gave me a heartfelt talk. Don't worry. Boys sometimes get curious about new things, but once married, they settle down. Your dad said it's about time to discuss your engagement with Helen. For the booths, you have to win her heart. Now is not the time for childish fights. Inside, I scoffed. Is that all I'm worth to them? Outwardly, I let out a dramatic sigh. If it weren't for our family, I wouldn't put up with her. My mom beamed with satisfaction. That's my good boy. I blinked, then clung to her arm and whined a bit. Mom, wooing Helen is expensive. I also have to bribe her friends. It's only the start of the month, and I'm broke. My mom didn't even flinch. If you run out, ask for more. Don't let anyone look down upon us. The booths. By the way, Helen likes guys who race cars. Maybe give me more so I can learn? She willingly gave me an extra 500 grand. Using Helen as a pretext never failed. In some sense, she's been my cash cow. So it's only fair I honor her a bit. Once back in my room, I saw a message from Helen sent at 8 a.m. Not home? Where'd you go? I didn't reply, feeling much better knowing I wouldn't need to fake it with her anymore. I hummed as I took another shower, meticulously applied skincare and body lotion, finally ready for a good nap. Victoria took good care of things, just that I'm picky about where I sleep. I guess I'll have to sleep there more often to get used to it. Little did I know as I drifted into a deep slumber, things were shifting for the Smiths. Back at their ancestral home, Helen took a scolding cane hit from their grandma. Where have you been fooling around? Just race cars with a few friends, Helen chuckled, half pleading. I'm back now, aren't I? Grandma eyed her for a moment, then sighed deeply. Get lost. Helen lazily agreed and went upstairs, oblivious to her grandma's complex expression. One of disappointment, almost like giving up. But when Grandma turned to Victoria, standing like a tall, reliable tree, her face softened into a grateful smile. Victoria, come with me to the study. Sure, Grandma. Back in her room, Helen felt a strange restlessness. She kept refreshing her messages. The pinned chat remained silent. She typed out a few words but deleted them all again. Why rush when she's not the one chasing? It's not the worst they've done anyway. He always came back, like a loyal, anxious little pup, helplessly endearing, yet feeding her secret sense of security. No matter how she hurt him, he wouldn't leave, right? Finally, Helen felt at ease. She casually descended the stairs, faintly catching Grandma's voice discussing her marriage to Stephen. She paused but then walked away unbothered. The engagement had been brought up by her mom. It seemed close. She mouthed displeasure but deep down, fluttering hints of joy betrayed her. Unwittingly, Helen smiled. As long as Stephen stayed easygoing after the wedding, then they could get engaged as he wished. In a private room at the night venue, I discussed starting a cosmetics company with my college buddy Tim. He majored in both biology and chemistry with top grades. Now he's starting a venture, gathered a research team, and is looking for investors. I saw potential and decided to be a shareholder. Tim seemed worried. Are you sure you want to invest so much? Not afraid of losing it? I sipped my drink and smirked. The fact that their products are on my friends' vanities should boost your confidence. Didn't you study marketing? Tim quipped. Why not join the workforce? I declined without hesitation. I'm ambitious. I attend financial seminars, learn about futures and stocks, scout investment-worthy projects at events. Do you think I have time for a job? Tim was speechless. So this is what it's like to be loaded. But then I don't get it, you're so put together about life, yet let yourself get tangled with someone like her? He could say this because we're close. I raised an eyebrow. Where do you think your investment is coming from, huh? He looked puzzled. I didn't elaborate much, just said, relax, those days are over. Grandpa agreed to call off the childhood engagement with Helen. Seeing her behavior over the years, he didn't mind Victoria and me being close. It settles things between the families. When Victoria shared the news, I couldn't help but chuckle into my pillow at night. Whatever went down, I was satisfied with the outcome. Tim was shocked but pleased, immediately toasting me, man, that's good news. Here's to both business and love. Our glasses clinked melodiously. Cheers. After wrapping things up and heading home, wouldn't you guess, Helen's call came through. I saw you at the night venue. Come to room 301. Sure, I wouldn't refuse. She hung up right after. I was about to block him, but then I had a change of heart and turned back. I had to share this good news with him. Otherwise, any misunderstanding could get awkward and cause some laughs. With a smirk, I calmly pushed open the door to room 301. The first thing I saw was the cool race car guy from last time, sitting next to Helen. When he saw me, he held onto Helen's waist even tighter, like marking his territory. The room was silent. Glancing around, some of the girls didn't look too happy. Funny enough, these were exactly the ones I dealt with before. Helen spoke casually, all right, even if I get engaged to him, it won't affect our feelings. Okay? Racer dude whimpered, "Promise me." I rolled my eyes, not even bothering to play along. "Hold up. Who's getting engaged with who?" The boy glared at me. "Steven, stop pretending. You're loving this, aren't you?" "Helen said she's only getting engaged to you because her family is making her. She doesn't even like you." Helen chuckled lightly and turned to me. "You've been chasing me for years, fulfilling that silly childhood betrothal. As long as you agree, we can live our own lives after marriage, without interfering with each other. How about that?" He casually held the boy in his arms, speaking playfully. "Anyway, that's how these rich family alliances work. You don't mind, do you?" The room got so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Everyone was staring at me, trying to spot any hint of embarrassment. But I just paused, showing a bit of conflict. "The deal was tempting, but your sister might disagree." He turned to me sharply, a ridiculous grin forming. "What does this have to do with my sister?" I feigned shock. "Don't you know? Grandpa already canceled that childhood betrothal." Helen froze, staring straight at me. The racer guy looked stunned, then got thrilled. "Helen, you don't have to marry him now." "That's great." He got pushed back so hard when the words just left his mouth, almost falling flat. "Seriously, Helen?" I said, laughing internally. "Why were you shouting at your boyfriend?" "He's not my boyfriend." Helen's voice was tense, slightly shaky. "Steven, what do you mean? What's this got to do with my sister?" I gave a shy smile. "I'm with your sister now. I came by to share the good news. Seeing how close you two are makes me relieved." The race car guy shouted bitterly at me. "My name's Charles." I shrugged. "She has so many boyfriends, I got confused." Helen frowned at me, then suddenly laughed. "You didn't have to make up such a bad lie." I feigned surprise, covering my mouth. "Come on, we grew up together. You don't believe me? Even though I'll be your brother-in-law soon, you can call your sister or grandpa. See, I'm not making this up." Helen stood stiffly, her face slowly growing pale. The more she recognized the certainty on my face, the sharper her expression became. "Brother-in-law? How could you switch sides so easily? What were the past 5 years even for?" I looked puzzled. "Switch sides? You didn't honestly think I had feelings for you, did you? I was nice to you to fulfill that childhood betrothal, that's all." "You're hilarious," yelling at me for giving without expecting anything in return. Even with his angry yet broken gaze, I just yawned softly. "Well, goodbye everyone. I'm heading home to sleep." Behind me, I heard the loud crash of a bottle smashing. I didn't even pause. Seeing Victoria outside the club surprised me a bit. "What are you doing here?" "Picking up my boyfriend, right?" That unexpected warmth stirred something inside me. I didn't even realize when she led me to the car. "It's funny. I drove here, had a valet pick it up for you." I glanced at her. She explained, unfazed. "The car is set at your favorite 79 degrees Fahrenheit. A bit warmer." That got me chatting. "So, how do you know so much about my likes? You weren't this familiar with me before." Victoria looked at me, her gaze warmer than the car's interior. My throat tightened a bit at the feeling. Unfortunately, my phone buzzed inappropriately. Carelessly, I opened it to see a message from Helen. "You think Victoria will still like you once she finds out you're a fake rich kid? Break up with her. You're still my fiancé." My eyelid twitched. She did find out. Back then, I hadn't dealt with the report promptly, leaving it in my bag. Helen often stashed sweets and milk in it. Thinking back, our dynamic shifted after that paternity report. She used to cover my chores and wait for me daily. She'd glance cautiously at my reaction when teased about being controlled. Once sure I wasn't mad, she'd proudly smirk. I loved hearing more then. Our relationship ending up like this is sad but inevitable. Knowing my background, he thought my kindness was just ambition. And I noticed the visible change in his attitude, ending in mutual disdain. Exhaling slowly, a wave of relief washed over me. The axe finally dropped, yet I wasn't the clueless boy from before. Through hard work, I built my haven brick by brick, restored shattered pride, and proved I could shield myself. I calmly showed Victoria the chat. "She's right. I'm a fake heir. Who knows what the future holds? You might want to reconsider." Her expression remained neutral, her tone light. "Mind if I reply?" I hesitated and she took the phone. Fingers moved swiftly, handing it back with a grin. She sent, "Idiot. The real heir was the one in the childhood betrothal. What's it got to do with me?" She chuckled. "I've already cursed her out in my mind plenty. I've known this whole time." She was unsure, but I told her to keep it quiet. I stirred, asking why. "First, it's your secret, your family matter. Your decision to tell or not. Secondly, it wasn't the right time. Wouldn't have been good for you." I grinned. "And now seems to be the right time?" She gazed at me, light catching in her dark eyes like stars. "Of course. Now you have the power to choose. Your destiny is yours to decide." Casually, I replied, "Does that mean I can choose not to marry you?" Victoria paused briefly, her tone mellow. "You can. It's not like we had a childhood betrothal." Beyond amused, I laughed aloud. She's only partially wrong. Avoiding an alliance with the Smiths, my parents would surely push for another family connection. If that's true for their own son, what awaits me? Their adopted child. In all fairness, I can't just leave the Booths either. The debt of raising someone is greater than that of giving birth, and they've never treated me poorly. In fact, they've given me a comfortable life. If they hadn't adopted me, I'd probably be in a tough spot now. I do owe them. Besides, from every perspective, Victoria is head and shoulders above her peers. I've hit the jackpot. I glance out the window and softly say, "It's fine as it is now." Through the car window reflection, you could practically see Victoria light up. Her lips curved into a smile, which she modestly tried to suppress. "Stephen, you've never asked me what I like about you. Have you?" I couldn't be bothered to ask. Growing up, I got love notes all the time. People liked my looks, my physique, and my discipline. Maybe I was a bit too arrogant? Still, I played along and asked, "So, what do you like about me?" She gave me a sideways glance, a playful smile tugging at her lips. "The answer's in the journal. You didn't read it seriously." How am I supposed to read French? When I got home, my parents were waiting on the couch, looking happy and asking me to sit down. My dad said Victoria's grandma just called. "Tomorrow, our families will discuss your engagement to Helen, probably to finalize things." I hesitated, but then came clean. "Actually, it's more like canceling the engagement." My dad's smile froze instantly. "What do you mean?" My mom asked with a frown. "Stephen, did you upset Helen again?" I looked at them quietly and sighed. "Mom, Dad, you can't hide a secret forever. I've known for a while now that I'm not your biological son." Their faces changed, and they exchanged shocked glances. I continued, "I also know you had a stillborn child and hoped that this childhood engagement would benefit the family, so you adopted me to take his place." My mom's eyes reddened instantly, caught up between memories and nerves. "Stephen, we never treated you badly. We've always raised you like our own." My dad stayed silent for a while, then asked seriously, "Did you tell them?" I shook my head, looking him in the eye fearlessly. "No, you haven't wronged me. There's no need to go against you. Besides, you gave me a good life for over 20 years. I appreciate that. So if there's a marriage alliance, I'm on board," I continued. My dad started to relax, but then I added, "But Helen knows the truth, so she's not interested in marrying me either." That took him by surprise again, his face turning red as he processed it. "So they know after all." I took a sip of water calmly. "Even if the grandparents know, they only know I'm not biological. You can spin it however you like. Say my dad was so devoted to Mom, afraid she wouldn't handle it well, so you adopted me. Raising me as their own, people would see that as noble." They glanced at each other, a hint of joy in their eyes. After a moment, my dad sighed. "It's a shame the alliance won't work out." His expression revealed he was already considering other families. "So, I casually suggested, if not Helen, there's always Victoria." My mom hesitated. "She is exceptional, but Grandpa is going to name her as the next heir. Plus, we're together now." They immediately lit up, giving me money and making me a late-night snack, just like the old days when I was the center of their attention. But those days are gone. I used to watch them fawn over my little brother, feeling out of place and unsure of my future. Now, it's better to treat it as a mutually beneficial arrangement. The next day, we visited their family. My dad and Grandpa talked in the study for a bit. When they came out, they were all smiles. The deal was done. Victoria's mom seemed pleased with me too, asking the maid to show me her room. I couldn't refuse and went upstairs. Her room was just as I imagined. Gray and white, clean and tidy. I saw that familiar notebook again, and my heart skipped a beat. Now I understood Victoria's earlier, cryptic smile. I opened the translation app and scanned it expressionlessly, but froze in place the next second. To the proud yet kind young man. I adore your dominantly carefree way of making people dye back their hair, your seemingly reluctant generosity in giving shoes to the needy, and the unabashed way you are just yourself. Stephen, I'll always love your pride and freedom. I couldn't help but smile. In high school, a girl in our class dyed her hair red. It was going to hurt our class's assessment, which didn't bother the rich kids but could cost scholarships for the less fortunate. I saw one of our classmates silently crying, so I paid that girl to dye it back. She indignantly asked, "Why?" I scoffed, "Because you're too ugly for my eyes." She did re-dye it, and later I found chocolate and a thank you note in my desk. I also gave shoes to a girl who had to give up dancing due to family issues. She pursued her passion because of my support and became the youngest lead in her dance troupe. Victoria had been silently observing me all this time. Smiling, tears began to fall. Some people want me meek and humble. Some want to see me fall from grace into the dirt. But Victoria appreciates my true self. How could one not be moved? Stephen. I heard Helen's voice from the door. I closed the notebook and wiped my eyes with my palm turned up. Turning around, I saw Helen enter and shut the door behind her, her dark hair falling messily over her forehead. Gone was the usual defiance. Her eyes were shadowed now. Her jaw was tense, and she stepped closer to me. "You're with her because she's the heir, aren't you?" I observed her disheveled appearance with a detached air. "So what if I am? What if I'm not?" Her eyes lit up for a brief moment, and she hurriedly asked, "If I got that position back, could we? Why didn't you take it before? Didn't you want it?" I circled her like an animal at the zoo. "Have you taken a good look at yourself? In terms of ability, character, even one point where you beat your sister? Have you been so sheltered that you can't see your real worth? If the Smiths were in your hands, they'd go bankrupt. Don't ruin your family. Why not just keep having fun with Charles?" She silently watched me, tears welling in her eyes as she recalled how I used to tear into her, leaving her utterly defeated whenever she cut school. Back then, it was just deep feelings and harsh words. Now it's humiliation from an enemy's angle. Things change, people too. Everything's over. With a loud click, the door swung open. When Victoria saw her, her eyebrows were sharp. "What are you doing here?" Helen's face was tense. She walked up and grabbed Victoria's collar. "Good job, Victoria. I trusted you, and you go after Stephen? Didn't you know I've liked him since we were kids?" Victoria let out a short laugh and slapped Helen hard across the face. "Your way of liking someone is to humiliate and trample them? I've learned something new today." Helen let out a muffled grunt as she hit the ground, blood trickling from her split lip. She wiped it off dismissively, glaring at Victoria. Victoria looked at her with a half-smile. Love isn't weighing pros and cons, nor is it doubting and testing. Loving someone is unconsciously caring and doing everything to be close. I went overseas for 3 years and you played your cards all wrong. It's pitifully stupid. Helen weakly murmured, "Yeah, I'm really stupid." I was staring blankly at Victoria, feeling a slight sting in my nose. She turned her head, eyes visibly warming. "They're discussing our engagement downstairs. Wanna come?" I didn't hesitate anymore. I reached out, our fingers intertwining. "Yeah, let's go." The next time I heard about Helen was a month later. She didn't show up at the engagement party. But that night, an unknown number called me. I was about to get busy with Victoria. Her eyes were slightly red, shirt unbuttoned, and that fair skin was just irresistible. But the phone kept ringing. Victoria wrapped her arms around my neck, watching with an amused look. With a crying tone, the caller pleaded, "Come to the hospital to see Helen. After she found out about your engagement, she's been drinking herself senseless, and now she's unconscious." I paused. "And you are?" Silent for 2 seconds, then a frustrated outburst. "I'm Charles." I retorted, "Doesn't matter. Aren't you her boyfriend? Why call me? Don't you know I'm engaged today? Can you not see that? If you have to, I'll send you some money to get her a fruit basket. Okay?" I'm busy now. I tossed the phone aside and leaned back in. But Victoria huffed quietly, turning her face away. Aren't you going to check on her? I smirked. Once we were together, I realized Victoria was a little possessive. Those other messages of congratulations from potential matchmaker connections? She noticed them, didn't show it, but definitely took it out on me at night. Wouldn't stop her antics until she got the answer she wanted. Tonight, it was my turn to be dramatic. I got up. You're right. We were childhood friends, after all. I should go see her. I was pretending to leave when suddenly, the world flipped, and I landed back on the soft bed. Victoria's face was serious now, and I laughed teasingly. She kissed me hard, taking the lead. You're not going anywhere. Between kisses, I whispered in her ear, you used to act so cool and distant. Secretly jealous, weren't you? She didn't reply verbally, but she let the whole night tell me just how jealous she really was back then.